Please give a warm round of applause for Rick Razor Titan.
All boys school, isn't that cool? How are you doing today? All right. How were your sports earlier? Everyone did well? Somebody scraped his elbow. Who scraped his elbow earlier? Who's in the office? Was he? Wrong guy. Probably a different grade. So I'm here today to talk to you guys about overcoming adversity, never give up, never surrender. And I'm also here to talk with you about bullying. And I wanted to show you that wrestling is not bullying before I got started talking. So I'd like to invite Principal Snow up front for a minute. And we can show you a little move here that we do, that I did in professional wrestling. And it's called the arm bar. I grab on right here, and then Principal Snow goes to grab on, and then, just like that. That's the arm bar, guys. So you see how it works? It's like cooperation. What's that? Uh-oh, we didn't do it for real though. We probably did it for real. Andrew, you want to come on up for a second? All right. And we're going to answer some questions later on. Whoever has some real good questions, I'm going to give away a poster too. I'm going to give one away to Andrew right after this too. And sign it later on, okay? So first of all, we're going to do a Hulk Hogan. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to pose up like that. We're going to lock up. There we go. And then there we go. Okay, good job. Good head for Andrew. So I've been to Japan. I flew over to Japan back and forth 73 times. Seriously. I went over to Austria and Germany and Puerto Rico and Mexico, all over Canada, and the U.S. from California to New York. I wrestled all kinds of promotions overseas, and I wrestled in the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. And what it took to get there and to stay there was drive, determination, and persistence. Everybody know what that is? No. No. What's determination?
It is, you're brave.
You're right. It means a drive and bravery to go forward and make sure you get it done. Anybody know what persistence is? You in the blue. That's right. Never quitting, never stopping. So when you're going after your goal, whether it's grades in school or if it's sports, that's how you end up being successful. You never quit, you never give up. You keep trying. So I went and I wrestled in Madison Square Gardens. It's going to be a little bit beyond some of the years in the room. I also wrestled with Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. Do you guys know who The Rock is? Yeah, I wrestled with The Rock. I was on the video earlier. I wrestled Bret the Hitman Hart. Anybody know who Bret the Hitman Hart is? Yeah. I wrestled Bret the Hitman Hart. I also wrestled The Undertaker. It's the first time I was ever in a locker room where I looked around me and almost everybody, Kane, The Undertaker, Sid Justice, were all taller than me. I felt like a shrimp. It was unbelievable. At the peak of my career, I wrestled in a jam-packed Kawasaki Stadium in Japan with 50,000 fans. 50,000. And so we were point sparring, and I saw Ric Flair. I don't know if you guys know who Ric Flair is. Woo! To be the man, you gotta beat the man, pal. I'm the world champion. Big blonde hair. Yeah, some of you guys know who he is. Yeah. So I was watching him, and he was in a cage match, and he was wrestling Ronnie Garvin, Hands of Stone, and they were doing all these things back and forth in the cage, but they were throwing some punches kind of like this. Does that look like it's going to hurt anybody? No. And that's what professional wrestling was about. It was acting, it was entertainment, and it was show business. And so I knew I was already 6'6", this height, when I was already 16 years old. And I knew what I needed to do. I knew what I wanted to do. I never thought I'd sit at a desk in my life, but that's what I do now a lot. Sit at a desk again. And so I moved out here when I was 18, and there was a place called the York Hotel downtown. It's torn down now. And I walked in there, and I stayed in there I was here for about 2 weeks. And every time I went into the room and turned on the light, guess what happened? Cockroaches ran into the bed. It was gross. Ew, yeah. And I went down to the Stampede grounds, the wrestling grounds, and I met an old fella named Stu Hart. Anyone heard that name? Stu Hart? He's the grandfather of professional wrestling here in Calgary. He's no longer with us, but he's Bret the Hitman Hart's father. So I walked in there, and he did what he always does, or did, I should say. He would grab my wrist first and go, and then he grabbed my arm. Pretty big boy, ain't you? I just sort of look at him and wondering what's going on. This is the first time I meet him, and he's kind of weird. And he says, "What do you weigh? About 273 and a half pounds?" And I said, "Yeah, exactly." And every time I saw him after that, he would do the same thing, grab my wrist, grab my arm, and go, "What do you weigh? About 283 pounds?" Yes, exactly. It was like a circus carny. You know those guys that guess their way to the circus? He was bang on every single time. And wrestling is not actually like fighting. It's more like a dance. And so I'm watching all this, and then we get to the match just before intermission. Anybody know what that match is called? The match before intermission? It's called the popcorn match. Because when that match starts, it's the slowest match of the show, and everybody goes out and has popcorn instead of watching it. And he's no longer with us either. His name was Mr. Hito. He was really, really good. And I would jump around in the ring. He would tell me what to do. And the first thing you learn in wrestling is how to fall safely so you don't get hurt. So he'd make me fall on my back. He'd make me jump up and fall on my back again, flipping over. He'd say, "Tighten higher, higher, faster, faster, faster." And that's how I got good enough to end up going to Japan. Because it's really, really tough over there. It's mandatory for them to take judo, kendo, or karate in junior high and high school. So I ended up wrestling in every little dumpy town in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, sometimes for $25, which isn't a lot of money for a wrestling match, especially when you're hurt. Or sometimes they come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Rick, we didn't have enough people come in, so we can't afford to pay you today." That's how exciting it was in the beginning. But I didn't give up. I kept going. There was a Mexican wrestler, he had that in the back of his trunks, Juventud Guerrero was his name. It said, "Never give up, never surrender" on the back of his trunks. And that really made me think. I wouldn't suggest that you have that put on the butt of your jeans or anything, but it's a good idea to keep in your head. Never give up, never surrender. He had all these scar marks across his forehead. His nose had been punched a bunch of times, so it looked kind of like this. And we were buying a big gallon of milk, 4 liters of milk. And my mom says, "Oh yeah, this is my son, Rick. This is Gene Kiniski, to me, world heavyweight champion." And I'm, "Oh, wow." And he puts his hand on my shoulder. Whack! Oh! He goes, "Keep drinking your milk, kid. You'll grow up to be big and strong." So I was determined. I had drive. I had persistence. And I kept pushing away, only wrestling sometimes every 2 months, and I was here for 2 years. It seemed like a couple of the longest years of my entire life. And I kept wanting to go to the States to wrestle in the WWE or in WCW at the time, World Championship Wrestling. But it wasn't happening. And I was almost ready to give up. I thought, this is enough. It's been 2 years. Stampede Wrestling isn't around anymore. And I'm never going to make it. But what did I do? Never give up, right? Never surrender. I sent a video over to Japan. A friend of mine, Chris Jericho, another friend of mine, Lance Storm. Chris is still in WWE right now. They had sent videos to the World Wrestling Entertainment. I'm a perfectionist, so I didn't send anything over yet. I thought, I'm not sending them anything until my matches are absolutely perfect. But sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay just to make some progress and get pretty good. And then start things out that way. And just not give up. You don't have to be perfect. You just give it a shot. So I sent the videotape over to Japan as well. And then I got a call. A guy named Ricky Fuji here, who'd been wrestling for Stampede Wrestling, was wrestling for a company called Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling. And what do you know? I used to do martial arts. So they liked the video and they brought me over pretty soon. And this is after just about giving up. Pretty soon they were bringing me over to Japan every 2 weeks there, and then 2 weeks back. 2 weeks there, and 2 weeks back. And that's how I started. And so the first time I went to Japan, I was really, really scared. Anybody here in the room ever been scared before? Anybody never been scared before in their lives? Oh, you got some aliens in here. Never been scared before in their lives. I usually got asked to be the bad guy, but after a while I got used to it. It's kind of like Halloween. Because when it's Halloween, you can be anything you want. You can be a scary character. You can be something fun. You can be a hero. And then I had, after a few more years at Japan, I had an opportunity to get a tryout in World Wrestling Entertainment. And so Bret the Hitman Hart was the guy that got me into World Wrestling Entertainment for a tryout. But I still thought I was a good guy type. And for a joke a little while before that, I played this character who was kind of the bad guy in another small promotion in the States. So I had my tryout, and I did it as Rick Titan, and I powerbombed this guy. Anybody know what a powerbomb is? I did that move. And before I went to the ring, I was scared as a kitten. I was so nervous, I was shaking. But I walked out there with this cocky kind of attitude, like I thought I was it. And all the fans were booing me because they asked me to be the bad guy again. And it was all an act. Inside I was scared. Everybody else thought I was just a mean guy. And that's what wrestling does too. And I was so nervous that before my match, I actually just wanted to run away. I had the opportunity of a lifetime, and all I wanted to do was run away. But I pushed past my fears, and I did it anyway. And that's how we move forward in life. That's how we move forward in school. That's how you move forward with jobs later on in life. How you move forward in sports. You push past your fears. When I talk to adult groups, I talk on 3 things. Anger, which is no good for any one of us. Doesn't ever help anybody. Guess who it hurts the most? Anger. Yes, it hurts you the most. And I was a bully at one time when I was young. But first I got bullied. So I had other kids picking on me. And then my mom says to me, Rick, you got to go out there and beat them up. So I went out there and I pushed some guys off their bicycles. And I felt horrible. I felt really bad about it. And once in a while these kind of things kept happening. And I became the bully. I never felt good. And I always felt like something was missing inside. And also when I think about the 3 A's, I think about aversion as well. So anger, attachment, and aversion. Aversion is when you avoid someone or something. Person, place, or situation. So you're scared of it. You don't want to go there. You don't want to do it. Anybody ever have to go a place they don't want to go to? Or have to do something they don't want to do? But you just push past it. That's how you get success in life. And you're persistent. You keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. When somebody taught me once, I didn't know what it was. False expectations appearing real. So false, meaning they're not true. Usually I just made it up in my head. Expectations, I'm thinking ahead of time and I expect for something bad to happen. And it appears, even though it's not real, but to me it appears that it's real. So I get scared, I'm in fear. Mark Twain, he was a fantastic writer. He said, many terrible things happened in my life. Many, many terrible things happened in my life. Some of which actually came true. It's our imagination. And what I learned from success is, I learned that success in my life came from intelligence. Success in my life came from relationships, friendships. And success in life came from persistence. Never give up, never surrender. And all for a long time, because I had bullied a few people, I always thought success came from being tough. But guess what? If you go to your job and you act tough, you get fired. If you act like a bully at work, you get fired. If you're in a relationship or you have a friendship and you act like a bully to that person, guess what happens? You get fired from your friend, right? You don't have a friendship anymore, and you're all alone and nobody likes you. Right? That's what acting tough does. That's what being a bully does. And there are a lot of people that try and manipulate and control situations. And what that usually is they're not feeling so good inside. If I'm trying to control all these other people out there, and if I'm acting all mean and tough because I used to when I was wrestling, and trying to make other people do what I want, because I'm in a bad mood and I'm feeling bad, all that means is something not so good is going on in here for me if I bully other people. Make sense? Sometimes there's a sense of power that goes along with that, right? Sometimes pushing other people around makes somebody feel strong. But really, it's out of fear as well. It's out of fear because I don't want to get bullied. I don't want to get beat up, so I better bully him before he bullies me. But guess what? All that did was leave me with no friends, no job, or in trouble at school, and feeling bad and feeling guilty. You guys like going to sleep at night feeling bad and guilty? No. So what do we all want in life, guys? What does everybody want from things around us? Yes, and we all want to be liked, right? And we all want to be loved by our parents, families. We want unconditional love. Do you know? Anybody know what unconditional means? You got it. Good job. You're getting a picture. What's your name? Ian. Thanks, Ian. So, what unconditional love, or let's say unconditional like is that no matter what you do, if you screwed up or made a mistake or even did something bad, but you know you won't do it again, you're still cared for. People still care about you. And that's unconditional like and unconditional love. Imagine if everybody treated you that way. So you could go through your life feeling a lot better about things, couldn't you? So non-judgmentalism is looking out there or looking at myself and saying, you know what, I'm not going to judge, I'm not going to think badly. Just because I think somebody isn't that smart, or just because I think they look funny or something like that, I'm going to be a good person and feel my best and feel my strongest inside by going, they're okay, they're fine. And so am I. And I can feel good then. That's power. That's power. Picking on people, judging them, being harsh with them, that's not powerful. That's weak. That's scared. So, who knows what compassion means? How about right back there in the blue? Well, it can be, yeah. It usually has to do with people. How about in the stripes in the back?
Compassion means that you feel good for everyone, and that you feel good for what you're doing, and that you feel you're just kind of you're not judgmental, and
Good.
you don't judge people.
Good explanation. What's your name? Aiden, come up later for a picture, okay? Okay. So compassion means having a sense of feeling for somebody else. Feeling good, feeling happy, hoping the best for them. Rather than being in fear and being angry and going after somebody else and being weak yourself, pushing other people, being negative with them. Compassion is a beautiful thing. The best explanation I've ever heard for empathy, what's your name? Okay, Benson, you got a picture. The best explanation I've ever heard for empathy is to try and put yourself in that other person's shoes, to feel their feelings, see things through their eyes, and understand things as they do. And the world will be such a better place. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Question and answer period time, okay? Do you have any questions about professional wrestling first? Who said that? Is wrestling real? It's acting and athleticism. And at the same time, I had to press a guy who weighed 280 pounds over my head and slam him. You can't fake that. If they get hit with a steel chair on the head and they don't put their hands up, you can't fake that. But it is choreographed first. So everybody knows what's going to happen well before time. Is that a good answer? Answer your question? Okay. Next question. Yeah. I have not wrestled John Cena. No, he got there probably about 5 years after I got there. Okay, question in the back.
Did you ever get beat by the Rock?
Yes. He did a really boring move though. He did a shoulder breaker on him. It was in that video we were watching earlier. Now he does that elbow one, the people's elbow, right? That's that thing. Much more exciting. With the glasses. Yeah.
You fall on your back. If you do it wrong,
You can get hurt. Natural reaction is for people to reach back. If you reach, what can happen is your arm can get caught and go that way. You can break. Or your collarbone can break. So that's the first thing you learn when you learn how to wrestle is how to fall safely. Kind of boring because I have to do it over and over and over and over again. And it kind of hurts your neck when you keep falling over and over and over again. But it sure paid off because I never got hurt that way. Thanks very much, guys. I hope you learned something from today. It was really nice being here.